I think the like most optimal way you could play Surge. Yo, what's up boys? This video will help you guys learn how to manage and get Surge like a pro does. This is a part of my new series that I've been doing on this channel called Surge Studies, which I go through like a set lobby really stacked tournament, and then basically I'll pick like maybe 3 or 2 teams depending on how long each of them survive and see how they deal with their Surge, and then I'll try to explain to you guys why I think what they do is good. Okay, that's enough talking, let's do this. The zone is going to be a bottom right zone, and it does hook down to the bottom right a couple more times, which is pretty obvious and predictable. And the first team I want to watch is going to be Oatley and Mesp at South Sleepy. This is a bit interesting because they're pretty far from zone, especially if it's going to pull down again. A lot of the time, if you're like far from a zone that pulls to an edge, most of the surge you're going to get is just going to end up being like running and shooting while on congested side, because you can't really get there early enough to like set up in a good position, which like a lot of teams that are close to the zone would definitely have the advantage of doing that. They leave about 3 minutes, pretty decent timer. So it looks like they're going to be traveling like down here kind of, and I assume they will stay like kind of close to congested side, because if you go way too far that way, you know you're not going to see anyone. So I assume they're probably going to go like kind of in there, kind of through Sanctum, or even to the right of Sanctum there, just a little bit. Because first of all, they know zone's going to go down here, so they kind of want to get themselves in a good position so the rotate is going to be easy. But then they're also not forgetting surge, so they're kind of staying close to congested side, which is going to be this area, so they can see it and get surge while they rotate. And they also see this team here, and they like kind of land up there and then kind of surprise attack them, get some surge like that. That's like 150 surge. So a lot of the time, if you're landing like a really far away split drop from the current zone that's pulling really far edge, most of the surge you're going to get is going to be from just running along people that are also doing the same thing as you, trying to get to zone, because it keeps pulling and they've been having to rotate for ages. So you can notice here, this is them right here, and they've came in from up here, and instead of going around here, which you'll do in like a game where you don't need surge, so you can get like a good spot because you know zone's going to keep pulling back this way. Instead, they kind of do the same thing, so they kind of can swerve off that way to get a good easy rotate to the next zone. But instead of going that far, they kind of go in this way, so they're kind of in range or kind of with congested side, which is kind of that circle, so they kind of have a half good balance of it. So you'll notice here, like they keep picking off like random bits of surge on everyone around them that are doing the same thing as them, because obviously if zone pulls really far one side, congested side is going to be like amplified, so there's going to be a lot more people that have to keep rotating that are on this side. Like you'll notice in this game, look at congested side, like how many people are in that. There's only like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, kind of 12 or 13 teams out of 43 teams are in dead side compared to all the other teams in congested side. So there's like 30 teams in congested side because of the massive hard pull to an edge. So the good thing about that is if you are a team landing very far away, if you kind of just rotate near dead side or in dead side, you're going to have people running alongside you that are doing the same thing because there's so many other people. So you just get to kind of run towards zone while getting surge. But don't forget to do this like nice strategy where you kind of go dead side a little bit, so your rotate's easy. And now they've set themselves up in this really good position where they've got their surge, and they're like, I think they're this team. And now you can notice how they're kind of on dead side, and they can just kind of wrap in and probably get around here. Then again, just like last time, it's kind of in dead side, but they'll be able to see congested side. And you can notice just how free this rotator is because of all the stuff they've done previously. And then instead of going deeper and deeper, he knows he needs to stay in a spot where he can see all congested side coming in, which is going to be like the people here. He knows he needs to see these people because he knows he doesn't have much surge. So he's going to stay in a nice spot here, which is also high up, instead of going like further in into a spot that can't see all that stuff. But then again, this is another position where if zone pulls back here, you can easily hook out to dead side on the right here and then make it easy rotate while also staying dead side, which you wouldn't be possible if you're positioned like maybe here, because if zone pulls down here, congested side is going to be like that, and then you have to rotate with congested side and straight through the zone, which is why you kind of want to be on the edge of congested side so you can access dead side, but you can still see congested side.
Next team.
And now the other team I want to watch is going to be Alex and Bailey, and they're laying Chrome Crossroads, so that's pretty close to zone, so I assume they go for like a pretty deep position to start off. The thing is, if you have a really close by drop to the like far pulling edge zone, for example this one, then if you get really deep in, say around here, it doesn't matter if you're dead side or not, because first of all, you'll be able to get surge from that spot. That's going to be kind of in the middle on like a high spot. And then second of all, your rotate's going to be easy because congested side is going to be like here, because it's really far edge pulling, and not much people are going to be in deep. So if you're in deep, it won't matter if you're like curved around here or here to go dead side for the next zone, because your next rotate will be easy regardless, because you are ahead of this congested side. So when second zone pulls, if you're here, there's no one in your way, so you can just easily go back and get an even better deeper position if you want it. But you don't get that opportunity if you're like really far. Like you kind of have to put yourself kind of dead side, like I said before. The balloon plus their like close drop will make them get so deep so easily. And they are like a really aggressive team, so it's a bit weird watching them. Kind of went to the gas station and had like kind of tried to initiate a fight, but they knew it wouldn't be that good, so they kind of bailed, but they got some surge from it. But yeah, they keep going this way to get a way deeper position. So they get the spot up here, which is pretty good. So they pick this spot here, and you may think it might be better to like maybe go for a hill over here or something over here, but those could be fine. But I think they might be a bit risky, and I assume they go here because this space gives them the sight line to see this area instead of only seeing this area. So they kind of get to see most, if not all, of congested side, which is going to be like this. So I think that's one of the reasons they pick it. The other reason is obviously just because it's high up, which is pretty obvious. And then also it's like just deep enough, so congested side is going to like finish here. So when they need to rotate their next rotate, it's going to be really easy for them to just keep going. And then you'll notice how they instantly rotated, and that's probably because they do recognize the opportunity they have to rotate before all of congested side, as you can see here. I think the like most optimal way you could play Surge, or like the most perfect game for Surge, which isn't always like physically possible, so don't always try to chase it, but the perfect game you could have is like rotating deep enough into a zone where you get to a point where you're ahead of congested side, and then when next zone pulls, you go even deeper into zone, so you're in another spot that's going to be ahead of the next congested side, and then you do it again, and so on and so on. So you're like always ahead of congested side, so your next rotate is going to be easy, but also you can see into congested side and get your surge. I think the trick for surge is like you always want to have sight lines on congested side, but you also need to know where congested side will be, because sometimes people think they know where it will be, but then they don't realize, and then the game mucks up because they just can't tell where people are. Which is another thing why good players do good, because they have so much experience, so they always know where congested side will probably be, like subconsciously without even thinking about it. But obviously you got to remember with Surge, a lot of the time you're not going to be able to do what you want to do, so you have to have the experience to know what you have to do on the fly. Like a lot of players, they seem to always try like find like a way or an answer or like a surge route to like know what they should exactly do, but every game is so different, and if you have a surge route, it tends to like muck you up a lot of times because you're trying to do one thing and go to a perfect hill, but every game is never perfect, and sometimes you don't get that hill and then you'll muck up. Yo, thanks for making it through the entire video. If you enjoyed this video and you think you learned a lot, then definitely watch this video that I'm putting up on the screen right now, where I actually teach you guys how to survive off spawn as much as possible. Also, join the community Discord using the link in the description of this video if you want to be involved in any future videos or give me any YouTube video ideas or series ideas, anything like that is really useful. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Use code Vujcich. Goodbye.